Today is September 23rd. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to read a little bit more of Chapter 6 in action. We'll be reading the rest of 71. Out of the 12 and 12, we are going to continue Step 11 by reading page 97. And we will read today's daily reflection in 24 hours a day. So with that, my friends, hope you're doing well. We've been given a brand new set of 24 hours yet again. What a blessing it is to be alive today. And to be sober, oh man, on cloud nine. Doesn't mean life's always easy, but at least we have the tools to learn to deal with it in an honest way. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. Out of the Big Book, we are on Chapter 6, Into Action. Halfway down page 72. So I guess we're a little ahead. I think I said 71 just a minute ago, but that's okay. We'll just do a little bit of 72. This is perhaps difficult, especially discussing our defects with another person. We think that we have done well enough in admitting these things to ourselves. There's doubt about that. In actual practice, we usually find a solitary self-appraisal insufficient. Many of us thought it necessary to go much further. We will be more reconciled to discussing ourselves with another person when we see good reasons why we should do so. The best reason first? If we skip this vital step, we may not overcome drinking. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives. Trying to avoid this humbling experience, they have turned to easier methods. Almost invariably, they got drunk. Having persevered with the rest of the program, they wonder why they fell. We think the reason is that they never completed their house cleaning. They took inventory all right, but hung on to some of the worst items in stock. They only thought that they had lost their egoism and fear. They only thought that they had humbled themselves. But they had not learned enough of humility, fearlessness, and honesty in the sense that we find it necessary until they told someone else all of their life story. Out of 12 and 12 run, Step 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Page 97. Sometimes we took a slightly different tack. Sure, we said to ourselves, the hen probably did come before the egg. No doubt the universe had a first cause of some sort. The God of the atom, maybe. Hot and cold by turns. But certainly there wasn't any evidence of a God who knew or cared about human beings. We liked AA all right, and we were quick to say that it had done miracles. But we recoiled from meditation and prayer as obstinately as the scientist who refused to perform a certain experiment lest it prove that his pet theory is wrong. Of course, we finally did experiment, and when unexpected results followed, we felt different. In fact, we knew different. And so we were sold on meditation and prayer. And that, we have found, can happen to anybody who tries. It has been well said that almost the only scoffers of prayer are those who never tried it enough. Those of us who have come to make regular use of prayer would no more do without it than we would refuse air, food, or sunshine. And for the same reason, when we refuse air, light, or food, the body suffers. And when we turn away from meditation and prayer, we likewise deprive our minds, our emotions, and our intuitions of vitally needed support. As the body can fail its purpose for lack of nourishment, so can the soul. We all need the light of God's reality, the nourishment of His strength, and the atmosphere of His grace. To an amazing extent, the facts of AA life confirm this ageless truth. Daily Reflection, September 23rd. I was an exception. He, Bill W., said to me gently and simply, "Do you think you're one of us?" Alcoholics Anonymous, page 413. During my drinking life, I was convinced that I was an exception. I thought I was beyond petty requirements and had the right to be excused. I never realized that the dark counterbalance of my attitude was the constant feeling that I didn't belong. At first in AA, I identified with others only as an alcoholic. What a wonderful awakening for me it has been to realize that if human beings were doing the best that they could, then so was I. All of the pains, confusions, and joys they feel are not exceptional, but part of my life, just as much as anybody's. "24 hours a day, September 23rd. AA Thought for the Day. Step 12 is having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps. We try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Note the basis of our effectiveness in carrying the message to others is the reality of our own spiritual awakening. If we have not changed, we cannot be used to change others. To keep this program, we must pass it on to others. We cannot hoard it for ourselves. We may lose it unless we give it away. It cannot flow into us and stop. It must continue to flow into us as it flows out to others. Am I always ready to give away what I have learned in AA? Meditation for the day. Draw nigh unto God, and He will draw nigh unto you. When you are faced with a problem beyond your strength, you must turn to God by an act of faith. It is that turning to God in each trying situation that you must cultivate. The turning may be one of glad thankfulness for God's grace in your life, or your appeal to God may be a prayerful claiming of His strength to face a situation and finding that you have it when the time comes. Not only the power to face trials, but also the comfort and joy of God's nearness and companionship are yours for the asking. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may try to draw near to God each day in prayer. I pray that I may feel His nearness and His strength in my life. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. Some great stuff as always. Yeah, talking about the fifth step, that was really terrifying for me. And I had the same question, like, wait, I've already talked to God about this. Why do I need to tell another human being? And I think for me, it's a couple things. I think, one, it's practicing the act of humility. Finally letting go of that fear and just saying it. And in doing so, for me, it's helped the fear to melt away. When I say something out loud to somebody else that I've been holding back for so long, bothering me for so long, and I finally get it out, I feel better, because then I realize that based on the other person's reaction, usually, that what I was dreading so much or torturing myself with so much wasn't really that scary or that big of a deal. I mean, it was, don't get me wrong, I don't want to take the, I mean, it might still be wrong when I did. And I think for me, by saying it out loud, that takes some of the power away, some of the sting away. And then it's out there. And then benefit number 2 for me for step 5 is I hear somebody else's take on the situation. And we both come up with solutions to the problem. And transitioning over to the daily devotion, I realized very quickly, because that other person, that very trusted friend, shares some of his stories, some of his struggles. And I realized very quickly that I'm no better or worse than anybody. I'm just another human being. And all that fear, all that weariness of carrying this one thing that I thought was so terrible that no one ever would want to look at me the same way again. I could finally let it go and realize I'm no better or worse than anybody else. The important thing is, how can I learn from this to make those direct or indirect amends in the future so that this one thing that I've been wrestling with that I did doesn't happen again. You know, and now I have a friend, a very trusted friend that can help me come up with a solution to that and hold me accountable for that. So don't get me wrong, that first time I was doing my 5th step, for me, I was very nervous. I was actually more nervous about that than the 4th step. But I'll never forget, I've said it a million times, so I'll make it quick. I'll never forget when I finally did it. And basically the person listened the entire time, and when I was finished, he thanked me for trusting him. He pointed out some things in that share that I didn't realize that I had been doing, which was very helpful, another perspective. He told me a little bit of his experience, what he did. We both prayed together, shook each other's hand, and gave each other a hug. And I remember driving home. For the first time in my entire life, back then I was about 32, for the first time I felt free. I'd never told another human being some of these things. And now that I had, I was able to let that bag go, that bag of rocks. And of course, with step 10, we can let those bags of rocks go each day. Little things that we might pick up throughout the day or little resentments, whatever it might be. We can continue to take that personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admit it. To let it go. That way we can keep growing and going and pass the message on to somebody else by our words and our actions. Beautiful stuff. So with that, my friends, I've rambled on enough. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon or any other sect or denomination. I'm just a friend in this lifeboat of recovery. Grateful to be here today. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.